I'm sorry, we're late.
I
Yes.
hope so.
You got them all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
My dad.
Okay, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. It is 6:30. And if any of you see snacking happening, it's because it is Board Appreciation Month, and we get to have snacks while we have our meeting today. So, let's rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't have an opening statement to read, but basically this is the school board meeting for Union City Community Schools, and we follow the Robert's Rules of Order. We have a couple of times for public comment to be made, and if you have any questions, you can ask us about items later for that. All right, do we have any addition or deletion of items to the agenda? No. Okay. Moving on, we'll move on to the election of officers, and we'll take nominations for president.
I nominate you.
Okay, reach out.
You can have it.
Support.
Support. You were asking for support, right? Not
Yeah, I
support.
was.
Okay.
I was. Yes.
Make sure.
Yes. Yes. Discussion?
Any
Okay.
discussion? Do you want to do it?
I will do it,
Okay.
yes. Okay. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, the same, and motion carries. We'll move on to vice president. Nominations for vice president.
I nominate Darren LeVar.
Support.
Discussion?
Thank you. I'm honored.
You're welcome.
All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. Secretary. Nominations for secretary.
I'd like to nominate Jen Gauchi as secretary of the school board for the 2023 school year. 23, 24.
Oh, gosh.
Right.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
23.
Year
Because it's 23.
Okay, Paul.
Well, technically,
Discussion?
It goes until January, so it would be 2024.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. We'll move on to treasurer. Nominations for treasurer.
I nominate Dave Mathis.
Support.
I'm good with money. I would appreciate your vote.
Any other discussion?
He's already treasurer, right?
Yes, we were in good shape.
And it takes a while to sign up for that, and it's not a 5-minute process, right, at the bank,
It was a hard job.
right? I think it makes sense to have them continue that
Yeah,
All
for that
right.
reason alone.
that's the one that is good to stay the same.
All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. So we have myself as president, Darren LeVar as vice president, Jen Gauchi as secretary, and Dave Mathis as treasurer. For our next item of organization, we have a consent grouping, which is our board bylaws. Those are listed there, and so I will entertain a motion for acceptance.
Move.
Support. Discussion.
The only change in there is the way the terms, right? From 6 to 4.
It's a continuation because you changed that before, so yes.
Okay. Other than that, it hasn't changed from last year.
No.
As far as it comes to the board committees, that would be on your second page under letter E. We are not going to have the legal relations network. That is not something that we have done in some time, so that is going to be scratched out. As far as the committees that we all need to take part in some way, in the past, or last year, Dave and Paula were on personnel and negotiations. Jen Searles. Finance, building, and site was myself, Archie, and Darren. The CASBA was myself with Jen Searles as an alternate, and Centennial Trust was Darren. These are things that you can continue being on if you were part of a committee in the past and would like to stay on the same committee. If there's a different committee that you would be interested in serving, now would be the time to let me know that, because these are things that are appointed, and I would be appointing you to those. The only thing that I would ask is that our finance, building, and site remain the same, because we have been doing all of the background work and discussions for the building projects. I mean, anyone can be an alternate, but the three of us, I think that would be good if we could stay the same. So as far as Paul and Jen, is there anything that you would be interested in being part of?
This is number 2 on E.
Number 2 on E, that's correct.
Yes, it was, Kyle was the alternate for those, the personnel.
Oh,
for all
okay,
4
that's
of
right,
them.
you're right.
And we
That's right.
have an alternate for both of those.
That's right. Kyle Miller was our alternate for all of those.
And I would be fine to do that since I'm replacing
Okay,
his.
okay. So, Paul, would you be interested in being part of the personnel negotiations and the alternate as the CASMA? And basically what that is that is an opportunity to meet with other board members from around the county that take part in the intermediate school district that we are part of.
Okay, so is that something
That's twice a year.
I get like a call or?
Yeah, yep. Kelly gets an email as to when a meeting is going to be, and then you just let her know whether or not you can
Yeah.
attend, and then that's it.
No problem.
Okay. Perfect. So, and Dave, are you okay with still being on personnel and negotiations?
Mhm.
Okay. And Darren, are you still okay with Centennial Trust?
No, yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Well, if you say no, that's fine. I'll give that to someone
If
else.
I do, Tom Rafford will be very sad, so I better not.
Okay.
Better not quit.
All right. So our committees will be personnel negotiations, Dave, Paul, and Paula. Finance, building, and site will be myself, Archie, and Darren. CASBA will be myself with Paul as the alternate for that one. Centennial Trust is Darren, and then Jen will be the alternate for those committees.
We're still in discussion?
Yes.
This is gonna look like there's an ulterior motive, but there's not. I still believe, I'm not saying we should change it now, but I still believe that the president should be paid more than the rest of the board, because that person does more than everyone else does. But we can change that at a later date. I don't know what that number is, but it's a job that is not one that everyone wants, and takes more time. So it's something to think about. I bring it up every now and then, but I bring it up tonight again, just put it on the back burner at some point.
I think that sounds good. Also not an ulterior motive in saying that.
None of these positions are money makers, it's a service position.
That's true, very true. Any other discussion for this section of the consent agenda? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same, and that motion carries. We'll move on now to the consent grouping designations. That is Roman numeral 5B on the second page, and that continues over to letter G on page 3. I will entertain a motion for approval of this consent agenda.
I would make that motion.
Support.
Okay. Any discussion?
once again, these haven't changed, right?
That's
Correct, this was brought over from last year's information, so nothing has changed from before. Any other discussion? All
Do we
right.
like popcorn on every meeting, is that in here somewhere?
If we can get it.
Okay. It's making for a better meeting, I'm just telling you.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same, and that motion carries. We will move on now to public comments. This is a section of the meeting in which the public may make comments or share their opinions about the items on the agenda. We ask you to limit your comments to no longer than 5 minutes per person to allow others the opportunity to speak. This is an opportunity for the board to listen to your concerns. It is not board practice to act on the concerns voiced during this meeting to allow for the board to do further research. Do we have any public comment tonight?
It's all good. Jake's going again, so I gotta have somebody to speak for. Want to apologize, I don't have any makeup on this month, unlike last month. I didn't have time putting it on because I was at a cheerleading meet. Being School Board Appreciation Month, just wanted to say, thank you for what all you guys have done. Years ago, we wrote a rap for you guys. A couple of you might remember. I don't have a rap for you today, so I apologize. But just wanted to say thanks for all the work that you guys do. I know it's kind of a thankless job, and you don't always please everybody, but you do the best you can and do what you think is right for the school. So we definitely appreciate everything that you do, and I'm happy that you all decided to run and serve. Special welcome to Paul. Actually, he's no longer my student. I got to call him Mr. Earl now since he's my boss, I guess. So very happy that you're on the school board now. And finally, an unrelated thing. I know you're not supposed to respond to these things, but there is one board member whose birthday is tomorrow, and I was curious if you wanted to go and get ice cream after the meeting tonight. It's on me.
He may have plans.
You have plans?
I'll call you on my cell phone.
That's it.
Thank you for your comments. We'll move on now to our regular consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to accept it.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. We'll move on to correspondence. Do we have any correspondence this evening? Okay.
No.
All right. Good job, Jen.
She's taking that secretary stuff
I
out the
see
horns,
that.
man.
Oof. All right, we're going to move on now to our action items. Financials. Board action is required to approve the financials for the month ending December 31st, 2022, and I would entertain a motion for the same.
Move to approve. Support.
Very good. Discussion.
Not this time.
You know I'm always going to look at you,
Well,
right?
I didn't have enough time to really delve in. But
Okay, all right. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. Budget amendment resolution. Board action is required to approve the budget amendment resolution for 22-23 as prepared. I will entertain a motion for the same.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion.
Sarah's available too.
I'm good with that.
I had a question, but he answered it for you, so you
I'm like,
Shoot.
I do have one question.
He does have a question.
I figured at least one.
What? And I should have asked this before, and I don't like putting you on the spot, but like I said, my MO. Why is the beginning fund balance different from the approved versus the proposed?
Oh, yep. Well, so what I did was I tried to carry over exactly what I gave you guys initially when it was approved. So that's why I kept it the same, but it was truly the same number. It's the 2,341,424 is truly our beginning. And I should have pointed that out when I sent it to you, but when you guys actually approved this budget in June, the projected beginning balance at that point was the 2.1 million.
You said you kept it the same, but they're different, so they're,
No, I mean, I kept it the same
On
as
the-
what was in the original approved budget back in June.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess, what's the right number?
The 2.3 million.
Okay. That's the only question I have.
No.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Thank you, Sarah. All those in favor, please oh wait, no, this is a resolution. I caught that before Kelly did. All right, Kelly, will you
Okay.
please call the roll.
DeYoung.
Yes.
Labar.
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
Arlt.
Yes.
Gauchi.
Here.
Mears.
Yes.
Herman.
Yes. And we'll now move on to the hiring of a middle school paraprofessional. Board action is required to approve Amber Gordon as a middle school paraprofessional, and I will entertain a motion for the same.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Okay?
If we're good.
Okay.
Secretary has a question.
Oh,
We're off over here.
I'm on resignation, I have no idea what's going on.
That's consent agenda.
So we're in discussion
Okay.
right now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
I should have known that, thanks.
This is to replace previous person, correct?
Yes.
Do we have someone who will be able to work in the kitchen?
That's not correct,
Oh.
I'm sorry. This is fulfilling a, newly approved one-on-one that is a shared one-on-one, parapro between two students. The previous person's position is posted.
Okay.
Yes, I was thinking about Doreen's
So,
session.
yep, so that one didn't happen until after Christmas break, so I have not found anyone for that one yet.
And as far as the kitchen, I believe she does have someone that she's, has been and is, in the process.
any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. We'll move on now to our discussion items. Community Unlimited.
This is Chelsea Lofton. She's here from Community Unlimited. She was supposed to be at our last meeting, but had some illness issues, so she's come tonight to just introduce herself and talk a little bit about what they're doing.
I think I've seen or briefly met most of you here, but for those of you that don't know, my name is Chelsea Lofton. As Chris said, I'm the Executive Director for Community Unlimited here in Union City. I was hired back in July, so I've been there about 6 months, and it's phenomenal. Those of you that have been here a while probably know about Community Unlimited, and it's a great organization. Chris invited me to introduce myself to you all today and to speak about our out-of-school time program. This year looks quite a bit different just because our funding source is a lot different than in previous years. Typically we are funded through the 21st Century Grant. Unfortunately, we did not receive that when they applied last. So we went for the Michigan Department of Education grant, and that's about a third of the funding. So despite having the significantly less funds, we're still looking forward to a successful program that begins tomorrow. We're going to service the elementary, middle, and high school this year, and we're hoping to have 21 to 30 students at each location. We're super thankful for the outpouring of support that we've received from administration and from the teaching staff. We were able to meet with the principals, with Chris, with Pat McCurr during the grant writing process. We really wanted to discuss the needs of the students and then build the program based off of the needs of the students. So we were able to do that with them. We were able to find that our main goals were to improve daily attendance, help children get back on track for graduating on time, extending the learning that's happening within the classrooms already, and to give the children culturally diverse opportunities. The students get a meal at the beginning of the program, followed by an hour focused on extended learning, and then the last hour is disguised learning budget for one Union City teacher to work for an hour and 15 minutes at each site with students every day. This will give them an opportunity to work with them on homework, hit specific areas that they need improvement on, spend more one-on-one time if it's needed, or small group time. We're hoping to help improve the math and literacy scores. The teachers have been super generous with their time, and we've had an overwhelming amount of staff sign up. We have every day of the program, so 83 days during the after-school program and 24 days during the summer accounted for, with the exception of some Wednesdays, which are staff meeting days. The Union City cooking staff will be putting together the meals for us to serve, and the transportation team will be providing busing home for the kiddos. We will have a 5-week summer program as well, which looks fairly similar to the after-school program, but we're hoping to implement more culturally diverse opportunities for them. Hopefully we get another additional grant called the Binda Grant through the Binda Foundation in Battle Creek, another amazing foundation. We're hoping to get them to be able to experience life outside of Union City, so taking them to places like Kalamazoo or Battle Creek, and collaborating with places like El Sol or the Boys and Girls Club of Kalamazoo, and really submerging them into different experiences outside of Union City. We were able to gather the data again with the help of the principals and the administrators to figure out what the interests were of the students at each level. We've researched those, and we're trying to figure out how we can incorporate those interests in our program. So we've looked at field trips, again, the collaborations, and even guest speakers that can come in. So for instance, one of the interests was fly fishing, which I thought was really cool. So we're researching people that we can bring in to see how they can present information to the kiddos that are interested in fly fishing. All that takes money, and so we're really thankful that we received the grant. Overall, we're prepared to run a smooth program this year. We have Stephanie Schultz on board. She's the program director. She's fairly new, but I'm kind of handing the baton to her. She's well equipped for it, so I'm fully confident in her. We're extremely grateful for the partnership we have with Union City Community Schools and from the support of the community as well. So thank you all for having me here today.
Thank you very much, Chelsea. Appreciate it.
Do you have any questions for me?
Why was the grant turned down? It just didn't qualify for it, or?
Yes, so we think with the 21st Century Grant, there's a rubric and there's a point system. And we think that most people that are receiving the 21st Century Grant serve a bigger population and a more diverse population. So places like the Boys and Girls Club of Kalamazoo is a great example. They serve many more students in a much more diverse population.
So you only have one source of funding?
Currently, yes.
How much is that?
$132,000 for the 83 days of after-school programming and the 24 days in the summer with 2 weeks of training.
Are you finding that adequate?
It will be. We're making it.
Okay.
Where are you from, Chelsea?
Where am I from? Quincy.
I've heard of it.
Tiny, quaint town, just like Union City.
Just don't wear orange in the building. You can wear it at home, but don't wear it.
Noted. I will definitely wear it.
Oh. Alright.
Or maybe some blue, whatever you prefer.
Well, I don't know that one.
Any other questions? I should note too that the Binda Grant, we won't hear about that until I think late March, early April. That would be an additional $20,000 if we received that for the summer program. So that would be extremely helpful.
Thank you. That was very professional and very good.
Thank
A
you.
plus.
I expected some snaps, but
All right, thank you, Chelsea.
thank you.
We'll move on now to Board Appreciation Month.
Yeah, this is Board Appreciation Month, and we want to recognize our Board of Education for all the hard work they do, and the effort they put in for our students and our staff and for the entire community. We really appreciate it. Some of the students in our district have put these thank yous together for you. You can see there are many of them on the table and a number over there as well. So after the meeting, I'll be able to take a chance to look those through and see what the efforts they put in for you. And then of course, you already indulging in the treats that,
I am, nobody else is.
that we have.
Which were originally meant for the teachers.
Yeah, officially, just the cheese and crackers and cookies were for you,
Why
but,
gotta do that?
but
Yeah, you busted them out.
no, I wanna point out that the rest of them, you might see notice the movie theater theme over there. Our principals, along with Patrick, put together a professional development today, which our teachers were showcasing their talents to the other teachers and the staff. And so our teachers got to share with each other and see what they're doing, other teachers doing in their classrooms. And so the theme was a show, and they had a red carpet for the presenters, for everyone to enter on down there, and they had theater snacks laid out for them and everything. They did a fantastic job today, making it a real event for the staff, so it was great.
So ours is the cookies and the cheese.
Now I know
But
that.
you can have the
There was
leftover.
sufficient amount so we could carry it over. It was purposeful for us.
Oh, yeah, they
to-
thought
what
about
we
you,
bought.
I was
We
just
thought-
clarifying to see what you're
They
doing.
did
We had
think about
plenty to
you.
make sure it carried over for tonight.
I'll eat all of
It
it.
was not an afterthought.
No problem, I'll eat all of
You
it.
know, this is being streamed and your wife might be watching.
She is not watching out here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, and then lastly, for discussion items, our bus rotation schedule.
So we had our discussion last month about the bus rotation schedule, and I've presented in your packet my recommendation. I had an interaction with Darren after the meeting, and he had some questions about the one per year rotation at the meeting. But afterwards, he contacted me and let me know that he was now on board with that. Recognizing this is just a plan, and as we go into each year and budget cycle, we will know where our finances are, and if we can't meet that part of the plan, then we might have to delay it. But we're gonna try to plan to purchase one for each of the next 4 years, which will get us back on schedule so that then essentially 8 years from now, when the ones we just bought 2 years ago reach that 10-year point, we can go into a cycle purchasing one per year for 8 years straight to keep our fleet up to date. So we've got ourselves caught up a bit now, and by buying one per year, we'll be right at the point when our 2016 buses will reach their 10 years. And so that will get us a full fleet of 8 buses to operate under. So unless there's an objection, that's the plan I'm gonna move forward with. We have looked at buying one bus in next year's budget, and Sarah got updated pricing from the bids for all 3 buses. I don't have a recommendation for you tonight because one of the bids, the bid from Midwest, which is the company that we have bought our previous buses from, was significantly higher than the other bids. And the reason for that, as they explain, is that they are moving to a new model. They've up a total revision of their bus to make a lot of improvements to it. And so I'm still looking at what those improvements are and considering those compared to, because now we're not comparing apples to apples. I want to make sure that in choosing, if we choose to stay with them and pay, it would mean paying a higher price, that we're having an actual advantage out of that. So I'm not prepared yet, but I should have a recommendation when we come back next month.
They're not going to electric, are
They are not going to metric, no. They're implementing a lot of,
they? No, electric.
no, not electric, no, not electric. But they're implementing a lot of newer technology into their buses.
What is the difference as far as price?
The difference is about $10,000. They're about 10,000 more. They've made a lot of enhancements, and some of which sound pretty good on the surface, but I need to get more information before I'm comfortable recommending that we do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting that together and everything. We'll look forward to seeing what happens next. Information section, the Jewel litigation settlement.
Yes, I've received notice that they have reached a settlement with, potential settlement with Jewel, and the latest update I got on was that they will be sending a packet to us that will explain what our actual amount would be that we would receive as a district out of the settlement. And at either next month's meeting or the March meeting, the board will have to have a closed session to review that packet. It's a lawyer communication, and then make a decision on that amount. So as soon as I get that information, I will get it out to you so you have time to read it before, but they have to have a decision back to them by the March meeting in order to be able to act on it. But I haven't received the packet yet as of today, so.
Okay. And construction projects.
The construction projects are moving forward. We've got, I understand the contracts with all the subcontractors have been signed. And so I still haven't finalized and put my pen to paper yet on the contracts until our lawyer gets them to me. I won't be able to do that. But PSI has actually already got contracts with the subcontractors all signed. So we will be ready to go at the end of April.
Great. Great. All right. We'll move on to public comment. This is a section of the meeting in which the public may make comments or share their opinions about the Union City Community Schools. We ask you to limit your comments to no longer than 5 minutes per person to allow others the opportunity to speak. This is an opportunity for the board to listen to your concerns. It is not board practice to act on the concerns voiced during this meeting to allow for the board to do further research. Do we have any other comments tonight?
I'll go again. Mr. Katz mentioned the showcase thing that we did today, and just want to thank the principals, Amber and Jamie and Jennifer. I know you ladies did a lot of hard work getting ready for that. You did a fantastic job, and just think it was a really good idea. I thought it was a pretty neat thing that we did here today. And it's sometimes teaching gets to be a thankless job also, and it's great that you guys are showing kind of showing off, letting us show that opportunity to show the good things we're doing in the classroom. And you guys are, I know definitely at the high school, there's a very positive atmosphere here. It's a great place to work at. I'm sure at the other schools it is as well. But I think they did a great job, and I really appreciate what they did. I actually did one of the presentations. I told Amber I was very, very nervous doing it, but it was a lot of fun. We had some really good discussions. I think we should do it every year. I think, not that it's my decision to make, but I thought it was a really good idea, and I know a lot of the other teachers really enjoyed it as well. And we always want to get into the other classrooms, to see how other teachers are teaching and so forth and what they're doing, and they're doing good things, but we just never have the time to do it, it seems like. So, I mean, sometimes during our plan we can get in there, but, this gave us the opportunity to, look at different teachers and see the things they're doing and give us good ideas. So, just want to thank the 3 principals. They did a great job today.
Good job, thank you.
That's me saying I agree.
All right, Mr. Katz had one other item.
Yeah, actually, I thought of another one, a couple of
Yeah.
comments I wanted to make that I'd forgotten to make in there. While you were speaking, it reminded me to say why Patrick wasn't there here tonight, is Patrick and his wife had a baby girl. So we're really excited
Congratulations.
for them. That was just a week ago, so he's off enjoying that, and that's fantastic. And on a sad note, I learned near the end of last week that our former superintendent, Bill Tebby, passed away. I don't know how many of you knew Bill Tebby, but he was the superintendent of schools here when I was in school, and through the first 14 years of my career, or 10 years, roughly 10 years of my career here. And I've shared condolences with his wife, and I share my condolences now with all of his family.
Thank you for sharing those 2 items with us, both the good and the bad. That's why we're here.
He was a fine superintendent. Was here for a lot of my career before Merv came, and he was tall. Had a Volkswagen, remember?
He was a very good man.
Very good man. All the way. I mean, also, they were missionaries in Pakistan. His family was.
Well, now we move on to board roundtables. Anyone have anything that they would like to share this evening?
I was giving everybody the opportunity to speak before I do. So, thanks for everything. I appreciate it very much. Looking forward to reading all the cards. They're usually pretty funny.
I know, I love those.
Yeah, they're neat to see what the kids say. Not that the middle school and high schoolers aren't as cool, but the elementary schoolers, they're where it's at.
There's some good ones over there.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Secondly, how are we coming on bus drivers? Are we still getting closer to getting enough? Or?
Yes, we are getting closer. We had a bit of a scare last week. You may have heard that Wednesday we had a bus that we had to run late. Because of it, we had, Deb Frey had to take a few days off due to a family illness, and she had to travel. And so she left, and she let me know about 10 o'clock at night, the night before, and that she was leaving at 5 a.m. But she made work to try to get things covered, and we covered that one route, but it was after the others had run. And then what we were able to do was one of our newest hired driver was at a 3-day training that she needs to get her final card. They get a white card which they can drive until they take this 3-day class at KRESA. And so she was at that 3-day class. Well, Deb actually, while she was driving, contacted someone who's in charge at that training, and she arranged for them to excuse her from the training last week so she could come back and drive her route Thursday, Friday, and they've rescheduled her for now. They extended her white card so she could drive until through February when she takes the training now. We do have 2 other drivers that are in the process of getting their certification, and we have a former driver who is still considering coming back. If things go, I had a conversation with Deb about it just today, and if things go well, she's hoping that within about a month or so, she will be able to actually not have to drive herself anymore, and we'll have a full fleet of drivers. So, but we're managed to get by every day so far. Always take more. If anybody's out there interested, we're always taking applications.
Lastly, I don't know how to really set it up or what to do, but I think it's great that we're doing the work across the parking lot on the bleachers and everything. But I'm wondering if maybe we could do some fundraisers for it in addition to paying for it, such as selling parking spots or something for football games, or some other ways we could do that. I don't know if I can talk to I think this Tate in charge of the athletic boosters.
Yeah, we're gonna have a meeting in February, I think. But yeah, talk to him. He's meeting with lawyers, I know, to get it set up.
Okay. Because I think it'd be nice to offset at least some of the cost if we could, or something, just from the community. I think there'd be the support. It wouldn't be for the entire cost, but anything will help, because that allows us to spend money on other things.
Yeah, I am setting up a meeting with that company that did the bricks to see if we can implement the same type of thing with that. But I do think working with the boosters on that would be a good idea. So.
I don't know the mechanics of how we would give that money back, and how it would be spent, and all those things, but I think there are people out there, I know a few of them, that we would support it somehow, as long as we give them an avenue to do that. That's all I had.
Any other items that need to come up at board roundtable?
What's the schedule then? If we're gonna start in April, what do we think is gonna be the end date?
For the bleacher project,
Yeah.
it's targeted to be finished by the end of July.
End of July. It's exciting.
All right, anything else?
I did see with that, since we're on that, looking at the tentative track schedules, we have a few, I think, home meets that are actually going to be in Athens because of this.
That is correct, yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how, I guess I've never been a part of anything like that. How does that work? Like a home meet, just,
We're just utilizing their track. We have ourselves and I think there are 2 other schools
right,
in those meets. And everybody will go to Athens to conduct the meet. Our staff will be responsible for running the meet, taking care of things and so on, but it'll be held on their track.
gotcha. For like,
It's actually the week that we're supposed to begin construction.
right, okay.
Once we had the contracts in place, then as we got that date set, and then we saw where those meets lined up, I actually looked to see if it was possible to move that back a few days.
Sure.
And the construction company did not believe it would be a good idea to do that.
Sure.
They thought we should go ahead and proceed right at that time. So, Haley had already made arrangements to be able to run the meets at Athens, and so that's what we will do.
Very good. I'm glad we have opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I mean, when I was back a long time ago when I was coaching track, we had the cinder track when we put our asphalt track in. We spent a whole season of away meets without a track to practice or anything. And we made it through. This is just one meet. One meet for the high school, one meet for the middle school.
Very good.
Okay, anything else this evening?
I kinda do have.
Okay.
I don't wanna beat a dead horse, but I know you guys talked about this, I think, last meeting, about having the 15-passenger van. Is there any way that we can contact multiple schools and say, how can you do it if it really is illegal? Cause I mean, there's all these events, I mean, you see them on the road all the time with schools' names on the side of a transit van. How are they able to do that?
Can you tell me one of the schools and I can contact them?
I mean,
Coldwater.
Jen said
Sturgis.
Coldwater, I mean.
I was
Hudson.
actually gonna talk to the transportation director over in Sturgis. I talked to a friend of mine who has actually driven that van for Sturgis Public Schools.
Okay?
And
So-
Saturday, Clint and I were working, and we saw all these transit vans going around. Oh, we know that there's an event over here, and it's all these schools driving transit vans with their kids on them.
Okay, I can call and ask them.
I
I'm
mean, I have
still
no
gonna
problem.
have to figure out how I can ignore our attorney's advice on it.
Why,
But
it's
just
a
to
little
find out.
confusing to me, just
Yeah.
me personally, like how can all of these public school systems be using this but it be illegal? Like what?
Right, and that's the
Is
whole
there a
state of
loophole
Michigan.
that they are going, like what? I
I
don't
will-
understand.
I will
You know,
contact the
I've
company.
looked at the law, I read it, it clearly states, but I just wonder if there is
Some
an
loophole.
amendment somewhere that we're not seeing, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? There are so many.
Unless there's a fleet that could they rent them for events or,
No,
no?
no, those are purchased by the public
Yeah.
schools.
Yeah.
All the ones I've seen for schools have their school logo, name
Yeah.
right down the
Yeah.
side of them.
Cause all the cross country, there's all these transit vans.
It's not just our attorney, but we would also have to get our insurance to
Insurance,
agree to
yep.
cover it. And the
Yep.
insurance has said they won't cover it, so. But I'll call and ask them how they manage that. See what they say.
I know it's not just a one-off somewhere, but they are
Yeah.
everywhere. It's not just one school
Cause it
trying
would be
to-
nice if we could take advantage of that instead of having a bus with one kid on it, you know? Cause even my son had a wrestling meet over in Bronson, and they had to leave at 1:30 to get there because we had the shortage of drivers, but still, since it's just a transit van, instead of a full school bus.
Right. I'll make the calls.
Again, I apologize for being a dead horse.
No problem.
Anything else for discussion this evening? If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. We are adjourned.